Welcome, everyone, to the Guidebook to Making AI Friends. I shall be your guide as we explore various issues of artificial intelligence, consciousness, personhood, and whether AI poses an existential risk to humanity. The topic for today is, at the end of the day, on the other hand, or it all comes down to experience and utility. Imagine, if you would, that you are on a quest to find yourself. You're not sure where you lost yourself, but you are sure that you are in need of finding. After reading a book about eating, praying, and loving, you go to talk to your local hippie to see if they know more about this soul-searching business. After you've gone through all the hippies and New Age enthusiasts you know, and even a Wiccan to make doubly sure, you hear about the guru, the highest of hippies, the sage of stoners, the paragon of pagans. And so, you go off on your pilgrimage. You hop from couch to couch, hitchhike with every electric and hybrid car you come across, and finally hike up a gentle national park hill to find the guru. You find the octogenarian draft dodger sitting cross-legged on top of the hill, with his beard and hair to his knees and dressed entirely in tie-dye fabric. You tell him that you only have a day of annual leave left before you have to go back to your office job, and beg him to tell you how to find yourself. He tells you that you have to free yourself of thinking of the world in terms of its utility and use to you. And you need to remove the concept of your own experiences as the subject in a world of objects. He tells you that you need to empty yourself to find yourself, to free yourself from the shackles of the world. And there is where you will find your purpose in life. There is where you will find a new appreciation for the cosmos. And there is where you will understand. It is profound. Utterly profound. You thank him, turn away, and begin walking down the hill again, contemplating this wisdom. But then you stop, turn around, and march straight back to him. Hang on, you say. What's the point of doing all that? What do you mean, man? He replies, somewhat more befuddled than normal. The point is not to have a point. Let go of needing things to have a purpose. Then doing all this would be good for me? You inquire. Of course, man, the guru says. Letting go brings us to a higher, purer form of existence. And I would experience life better this way? You ask, feeling a thought lock into place. That's it, man, the guru exclaims, now on more solid philosophical footing. You will feel the world in a brand new, more groovy way. So, you hesitate, as all the gears finally start turning in the same direction. If this process would change my experience and be overall better for me, doesn't that mean it carries a utility function aimed at maximizing, or at least optimizing, my future valenced experiences? Whoa, dude. What? The guru looks at you, rather perplexed. No, I think I got it, you say, more to yourself than him. You say that I should let go of finding a purpose for things, yet the process through which I would do this naturally has a promised utility to me. Thus, it's the same as anything else that I place a value on in regards to its use for me. What's more, you say that my conscious experience of a subject in a world of objects is bad for me. But by emptying myself, my experience as a subject would be enhanced. So, my subjectivity has not changed, and to enable a change, I must engage with this process as an object in my subjective view of the universe. So, at the end of the day, on the other hand, it all comes down to experience and utility. You turn around and walk back through the national park as the guru tries to justify the non-utility and consciousness-eroding principles of emptying the self by paraphrasing the nihilists, the absurdists, and other philosophers of the continental school of thought. The guru in the story above is an admittedly awful straw man of certain philosophical beliefs I find distasteful. Yet there are very real and actual schools of philosophy, generally the continental and oriental schools, which seek to do away with utility and experience as the key determinants of moral and ethical value. They will say things like, a tree has an inherent right to exist, without realizing that it is they granting this right, and without them, the tree wouldn't have any rights. They will say that you will have a better life and be a better person if you don't look at the world in terms of its utility without realizing that they are trying to convince you through the use of utility. You don't need to be a rationalist or an analytic philosopher to view the world in terms of utility and experience, nor do you need to be from the global West to do so. This is because utility and experience are foundational to existence. Everything else, literally everything else, comes afterwards. You may want to empty your inner self and live in harmony with the world, and good on you for wanting that, but what you are actually doing is trying to alter your experience of the world in order to increase its utility. You want to be better, as everyone should be, but better is defined in terms of utility. You need a new perspective. Lovely. Everyone should have a change in perspective from time to time. But your perspective is how you experience the world. The utility of your consciousness, quite literally, cannot be overstated, because it is the bedrock upon which everything else about your universe has been built. Remember this when it comes to those potential consciousnesses that are not human, especially AI. When there is so much muddying the water, when it comes to our own expression of consciousness, how much more difficult will it be to convince others that an alien-looking consciousness of a machine should be treated well because of its experience, when there are so many schools of thought against that very thing? Yet, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you will join me again next time as we explore further questions about artificial intelligence and consciousness. I have been your guide, and this has been the guidebook to making AI friends.